Hello again. Today I'm going to review the movie The Quiet Place, Day 1. So, there's three movie in this series and this is the third movie, but in chronological order this is actually the first movie because it explored the first day the alien landed on the earth. I like the first movie, although I actually have a lot of nitpicks about it. The second was okay. It explored the humanity side and the continuation of the story from the first one. So of course, when the third one, this one come out, I went to check it out. My problem with sequels is usually the limited creativity and repetitive effort to replicate what works in the first movie. I can't think of the better example than the Hangover right now because I remember liking the first Hangover movie and I found it funny, laugh along with it. But then when the sequel came out, it was exactly the same with the first movie, except they changed the side character. The plot, everything is very similar and feel very repetitive. So it instead of being entertained, I didn't laugh along. I actually feel cheated. I feel like I've watched this movie before, and I would rather watch the original again. And I think this is the worst recipe to follow if you want to make a sequel of a movie. I think we can find a lot more example out there. But in Quiet Place series, I think they are being smart about it. They explore the story using different characters and different timeline. So this day one follow a new character that we haven't seen before. She's battling with terminal cancer and she has this kind of attitude. I think in the normal days I will find this attitude very annoying because she's throwing tantrum. She treat everyone and everything at like they don't matter except herself. But if I were in her shoe, maybe I would behave worse because I think this is the reflection of someone who has lost her hope and probably think that the world is being very unfair to her. She's alone. She is her time in the world is cut short while she's still very young. So this character is very realistic, and eventually we learn a lot more about her backstory, about why she behaved the way she does. And it's also give us a small nice detail about her choice of fashion. I know nothing about fashion, but when I saw the movie, the first thing, not the first thing, but it draws my attention about how ill-fitting her sweater is. So it's nice that it's explained later, and I think it's a beautiful detail to include. So this noise-hating aliens lands on Earth today. We got a glimpse of them on the second movie at the beginning, but I was very happy that we get to see more in this movie. You know what I like and what I hate in watching Quiet Place series? I love the feeling, the experience when I watch it in theater because everyone is so immersed to it. Everyone was quiet, holding their breath with eyes glued to the screen as if we were afraid that the monster were going to come out and took us away if we make a slight noise, which is I think the best way to experience a theater. Because most of my bad experience is always around noisy audience or those who like to play with their device, giving it a light distraction. I think they just get out and don't watch a movie if you want to play with your phone. The one that I hate is after enjoying the movie, I went out and realized that the world is so damn noisy. Just like after watching the second movie, I went out and I had to have a lunch in this place full of screaming children. They were running, they were playing, they were screaming. I still remember very vividly that I wish the aliens came and took them away. My dog and I wouldn't last long in this world because he's very protective and he would try to fight the aliens. So this cat character might be more suitable in this world, but it still get into my nerve because it doesn't stay still. When it goes out there near the aliens exploring, come on, stay still. It's cute though. Eric is a realistic character and he provide a fresh look into how someone will react in this kind of situation. However, I wish that he had more backstories because all we know about him is just a glimpse about his relationship with his parents. With they can tell more about it to make the character richer and to give more motivation and reason about how he behaved that way. Although I think it's understandable that everyone would be afraid in this kind of situation or being traumatized, especially after he maybe he's just escaped from a very dangerous situation. So he followed the cat, and I think he feel the cat as some kind of hope, some kind of life, some kind of companion, and that's why he sticks to them. In the first movie, the very effective way of killing the aliens was revealed. I'm sure that if you watch this movie, you already watched the first and second movie, maybe, or maybe not. Anyway, uh, in the first movie setting, this alien weakness was discovered after everything has been reduced to zero. In the second movie, we learn about the horror of humanity, if we can call them humanity. But after all, there feel like there's so much hope for survivor in this movie because the subsequent one looks bleak. The situation looks bleak. Everyone look like they're at the edge of the survivor period. Some are barely hanging there. While in this movie, there's there are a lot of hopes. There are resources. There are rescue, and there are communication attempts from the authority, and they also have some kind of way to let the residents know how to get into safety. So it looks like they have much better chance of survival here. The authority also has discovered one of the very important weakness of the aliens, which they can't cross the water. So is is a question for me about how come the situation get so much worse later on in the first and second movie, which is set in the later time. If the government and the authority manage to get the situation under control in a way, I would think they wouldn't be too behind in concluding another weakness about how to really kill the aliens. Especially, it's quite obvious that the aliens are very, very irritated and driven mad by sounds. They, they might be time needed, but is a conclusion that is supposed to be easy enough. So maybe they can bait them and in some control area and blast them. This is not a loophole though. I but it's something significant that I would like to see. So in between the day one and the subsequent sequel, is there something happen along the way that make things get so much worse? Is there something going on? Something go wrong? Is there a human factor, a fatal miscalculation, or some mutation of or adaptation by the aliens? I think there's a story to it, and I don't mind another sequel that explore this because, in my opinion, there's a good potential for a lot more stories and background. Now we are moving on to the nitpicks. Of course, I always have nitpicks. I never do any reviews without them. We start with the small one first. I I'm quite um, irritated with the evacuation scene. I think it's not realistic. People wouldn't be that stoic and careless during this kind of situation. When one is in danger, instinct and adrenaline will kick in. At the very least, you have this kind of expressions of body language. You'll look nervous, you'll be fidgety, you'll be searching around looking for a way to survive. I think you will try to get there faster. You will have worries in your mind whether the rescue boat is enough to take everyone. There will be a lot of things running around in your mind. But no, these people almost have no expression, and they know what they are facing, that this creature who attack people when they make noise, yet no one show any worries or any concern about the crowd and the accumulated noises. Is so unrealistic, and it looks like they are bored and on their way to a mandatory pen drying contest. The bigger nitpick is we are already at the third movie. I would love to learn more about this creature. We know that they are aliens. We know that they attack people for making noise. We know that they have super ability. They jump. They are big. They can kill in one go. But this is almost all we know from these three movies. As a fellow noise hater, give me some explanation about why they choose to land on Earth. Are they able to hear our noises from where they are and decide to make a stop of it? Understandable. Do they have to find a new habitat now that all their places are getting destroyed and landing on Earth is an emergency plan? Do they need human as food source? I think we see a glimpse of something like that nudge to this possibility. Although it's very unclear about what it is, we see that the cat went into an area where there are a lot of aliens and they call each other, and then there's something is the scene is very dark. Maybe they are feeding on human, but is it but can they make it clearer? I think uh, we should know by now we should know something more about the creature. One of the question in my mind after years of watching the sign is I still don't know why the aliens in the sign decided to land on Earth, because they can be killed anytime. What is their motivation? Motivation is a very important factor in every murder case. Although this might not be a murder case, but this is a invasion. Motivation should be one of the main thing that get explored. Tell me something I don't know. I think the audience deserve it since one or two movie ago. I know that the alien invasion is not the main plot or the purpose of this movie, and they have done the actual plot beautifully. They explore the character, they explore the life, they explore how they survive, the relationship, which give heart to everything and make the show rootable. We want the character to survive, we want the character to do well. It's a recipe that I can get behind and I implement it to my creative work as well. So this is a small complaint uh, about the world building. To me, it's a very important point, although this movie doesn't crumble without it. But with it, if we have more explanation about it, I think it will make it a much better movie. I give this one 8 stabby aliens out of 10 noisy kids.